Thank you for staying with us here on Morning Live. The Human Rights Festival kicked off early in the week at the Constitution Hill in Johannesburg. The festival includes interactive workshops, panel discussions, film, poetry and exhibitions. Today will be the music segment, which will see various artists from the country come together to pay homage to all those who lost their lives and died in the struggle for democracy, particularly those who died at the hands of the apartheid forces at Sharpeville on the 21st of March back in 1960. Well, to tell us more, we are joined in studio by Kwara Kekana, who is, of course, the programs manager and director of this festival. And we welcome back Ospopo Mashiane, who lives here, I think, by now. So. And every time we see your face, we know that nice things are happening. Ladies, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Kwara, let me first come to you. Just take us through what this week of festivities and celebrations and of commemorations have been all about at the Con Hill and what has happened.
So it's been absolutely crazy but also exciting at the same time. The second annual Constitution Hill Human Rights Festival is convened under the theme 25 Years of Democracy. And you're right, I mean, the kind of offerings, creative offerings that we do have then would speak to the theme, the 25 Years of Democracy. So we really interrogate, debate and have discussions around what the last 25 years of democracy really means to ordinary South Africans. The Constitution itself, does it really speak to the people on the ground? Do people appreciate it? Do you understand it? Do they own it as well? So I mean, we have exhibitions, for example. There's one particular one called The Price of Gold, and at the same time we have a movie screening called Dying for Gold as well, that speaks to, I think, the history of the discovery of gold in South Africa, and particularly in Johannesburg, and really what that has meant for black people in particular. This speaks to the disposition of land, forcing black men in particular to work in the mines, and really stripping them of their livelihoods, which speaks to the land. So there's the land question as well. There's questions around livelihood as well. But you'd also remember the silicosis and TB class action lawsuit case. I think it's about 2 years old. Section 27 was involved in the particular class action lawsuit against the gold mining companies as well, really about the effects of silicosis and TB on black men in particular that worked in the mines. So the exhibition, The Price of Gold, speaks around that issue. And we also have the movie Dying for Gold that looks around the gendered impacts of the TB and silicosis case, also the impact and the violent impact of the gold mining, the discovery of gold since the late 1800s in South Africa. But also, I mean, you know, we have creative offerings as well. And you have activist poets like Napu, Lebahang Mashile that today will really showcase their stuff. You know, you're right. I mean, she's amazing. When you talk of Napu, you really expect fun things. But also, I think, Umkhabul. So we also expect Mukhabulu through poetry as well. We've got book discussions as well. So those book conversations as well will interrogate the 25 years of democracy. We have former Justice Albie Sachs, who's going to be talking about his book, We the People, Insights of an Activist Judge. There are many other things as well. Of course, the music concert this evening will be the last kind of offering for this evening with Java, Shoma Josie, and many others.
Okay, cool. I didn't want you to break down the lineup quite yet, but that's fine. You just got us all excited. Ospopo, your involvement in this, tell us all about that. And I mean, we know you as, you know, someone who's a fierce feminist. You are a very talented poet. You're very invested in the arts. You're very invested in so many things that look at uplifting young black women. Your role, your involvement this time around.
I mean, I'm involved and I'm part of an amazing lineup of poets. It's myself, Lebogang Mashile, Vangi Kantsu, and Drumila. And it's so funny how the four of us as well, you know, we have over the years used our voices to speak and to take a stand. I think each and every one of us, we are, you know, activists in our own way, whether through our poetry or through our theater works and everything else. And here we are, we're coming on this festival to provoke thought, to engage, yes, creatively, yes, to entertain, but also to make sure that we always are those aunts in a family who remind us where we come from, where we are, and how we need to make sure that certain things within the community, within society, that, you know, are being corrected and are being done right. So we're just artists who are using our voices to make sure that the injustices of the past don't keep on happening, but also to highlight the present struggles that we have as women, as mothers, as kids, as artists, you know, as community members, as fathers, as brothers. And that's really our role today, to really engage on that particular, you know, creative, artistic element.
And so for you as an artist, as an activist, what does the past 25 years look like for you? I think, especially in relation to Human Rights Day, where we see so often, every single day, every single minute, somebody's human right is being violated in so many ways. Just in relation to women alone, it's a list so long we could never get through it. So what does that mean? What does these past 25 years look like?
I mean, it means firstly that one would not at any point choose to be silent. But also it means that you constantly have nightmares, because our job as artists is to reflect society. We mirror society. What we write about, what we perform, what we create artistically, the seed of it is always the injustice that's happening. It's somebody, being violated. It's somebody not being able to have their basic needs. So you are forced, when you use that, sword, pen and paper, to write about it, to speak about it, and to say to society, this is who we are. Is this who we want to be? And then if not, what can we do together? And also poets throughout our history, throughout apartheid era, throughout humankind, have always been the conscious voice of reason and making sure that the society sees itself through our work and through us.
And Oscar, are South Africans getting it? This whole idea of human rights. I mean, it's enshrined in our Bill of Rights, in our Constitution. But the way, as Osnap was saying, that when artists reflect society, it almost seems as if this whole thing of rights and responsibilities is just falling on deaf ears. In general, what's been your experience?
I mean, look, we really have a long way to go. And I mean, you're right that, even through art itself, it's used as a tool to assist others in the healing process. But also for yourselves, I think you also go through a healing process as well, being a black woman in South Africa as well, and the kind of human rights violations constantly, and the kind of violence black women in this country, but I think globally as well, really experience. But I think what this Human Rights Festival it will do, and we hope it does this. So what we've done also is that we've given a platform to different social justice organizations in the country that are working on different issues, women's issues, queer issues, climate issues, that impact on people in different ways. So we really hope that these sessions and these engagements, but also the space for them to interact and say, we're working on climate issues. For example, how does climate change affect women? For example, there's drought, you can't plow, you can't plant, there isn't, there's no food production, food security. How do those things affect people? That in itself, you don't have access to food. That in itself, speaks to people's human rights, access to water. So there are many issues that we're going to be really discussing and interrogating. But for me, I think one of the discussions we're going to be having today is the unfinished business of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So there's a group of women in particular that are going to be part of this panel and really discussing how the Truth and Reconciliation Commission for them did not really assist them to some extent. So for them, this conversation, and they've been doing these talks all over the country. So it's a healing, it's conversations that seek to heal, conversations that seek to also highlight some of the things that the Truth and Reconciliation Commission were not able to do, either because there were time constraints, either because at the time the way the things were structured were not properly done. But I'm telling you, up until today, there are people that are still missing, that are unaccounted for. Families don't know where their loved ones are buried. And there's an existing missing persons unit that's under the TRC, still at the Department of Justice, that still today is digging for remains of people that, were lost during. Precisely, and that in itself, in a way, is very violent, speaks to people's human rights. So we hope that these sessions also provide that platform for healing through art, poetry, music, theater. We hope that this Human Rights Festival then becomes that vehicle to really provide those ventilation sessions. All right, very quickly, how can people come through? Especially, I know a lot of people are wanting to have these discussions, are wanting to check out the music later on. What can we do? So everything is free. I know people think nothing, there's no such thing as a free lunch. There is free lunch at Constitution.
Yeah, and the poetry session starts between 3 and 5 o'clock, so they can come and see us, then engage with us, and then enjoy the rest of the evening.
Absolutely. So people can come from early as 11 o'clock today to see many creative offerings. There's also a maker's market. You can buy food, you can buy crafts as well. But for the music festival, people need to register on web tickets to download a free ticket. All right. So everything is free.
All right, gratis mahala. Wow, I love this South Africa. Ladies, thank you so much for your time and all the best. That was, of course, also Popo Mashiane, who is, of course, going to be taking part in the poetry sessions that are happening today at the Con Hill, and of course, Oscar Kekana, who of course is playing a big role in making sure that this festival has been a huge success. So as she said, it's free, guys. Download your tickets where you need to for the music festival, but make sure that you are there taking part in all these things that are happening. It's very exciting times at the Con Hill.